Hi, and welcome to the Knatters Knits podcast. I think it's episode 46 today. It's Friday, the 4th of August, 2017, and my name's Natalie. I'm also known as Knatters Knits everywhere on the internet. So I'd like to say a huge welcome to everybody. Obviously, if it's your first time, thanks for checking me out. But if you're returning viewers, particularly to you guys this week, thank you ever so much for coming and checking me out again. I really appreciate it. I do love spending time with you all. And I love our interactions as well. So it's really nice that we can catch up and spend time together. Right. This is a knitting podcast, as you probably well know, which is why you've tuned in. Duh. Um, and I have got a few things to show you this week. And as you can probably tell by my grin, I'm really quite chuffed with a few things. I apologise for the sniffles again. I've got a stinking cold. I don't know where it's come from. Well, I've got an idea who I got it from, but we'll say no more on that one. So without further ado, first of all, I have two finished objects. Now, don't faint. I know that this is a rare occurrence for me, but I have two finished objects. The first one I'm going to show you actually didn't even exist last time I podcast. I didn't even have the yarn for it. Okay, it's made out of a caron cake. And in this caron cake, which is 80% acrylic and 20% wool, there are supposed to be, can't see the yardage, yes I can, 383 yards or 350 metres. It's a cookies and cream colourway, and inside there's usually a beautiful, beautiful pattern. However, what it doesn't tell you on the outside is that you need two skeins for the pattern. So that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Okay, so what did I make with it? Well, here we go. One upside down shawl. As you can see, it's not my usual colour palette. It's greys, shades of grey, a green, a cream, a brown, which you can just about see there, and it goes back to grey and then a little bit of green at the bottom. And I almost played yarn chicken with this. I had, I think, about 4 grams left. So I think I did quite well, really. It's not blocked, but as you can see, it's a reasonable size. Makes a nice little wrap for the evenings. It's okay. The only thing is the yarn. Now, when I first saw caron cakes coming into Hobbycraft, I got really excited, especially all the colours and everything. So I thought, I'll give it a go. And it took a long time, sorry for the knocking, for me to buy some, but I did. And let's just see if I can get the lighting right. It's a bit darker than that and a bit richer than that, but the lighting's not so great today. So that's that one. And it's just a simple short triangular shawl with increases in the middle and at each end as well. And I put 2 lots of eyelets in. One lot, one double lot there, and some at the bottom. I do like it. I just didn't like working with it because although it's soft, I don't know, after a while, its squeakiness with it being acrylic really began to get on my nerves. And I've come to the conclusion I'm just a yarn snob. That's all there is to it. I like my wool. But that's that one finished. So that one will go up in the shop once I photographed it. I'm not going to say any more about it really because I don't really want to slag it off anymore. Usual builder's tea this morning. Now the thing I've been working on more than anything else, and the project I'm really chuffed with this week, is this. You may remember the little owl jumper, or its proper title is a night owlet hooded jumper. It's by Claire Hutchinson, and that's what the pattern says it should look like. And this is what it actually looks like. There we go. So the hood, what I did in the end was I put felted eyes on. I glued them on with material glue, and I've also sewn them on. So that's the little hood, and then the colour work there, and the main body of the jumper. and the ribbing's in the same colour as the hood. Now the sleeves are supposed to have, I don't know if you remember me saying, a little sort of cap on the end that becomes like a little wing, but I decided against that in the end, because I know full well what George is like and what he's likely to do with putting his hands in things. So that's that one, and hopefully George is going to come and see me in the next week or so, so I might be able to get some photographs of him as well in the jumper, depending on the weather. Although the way it's going at the moment, quite easily I'll get some. So I'm really chuffed with this. The BFL in the middle is really, really soft. Let me just find the Ravelry page for you. Okay, so Night Owlet hooded jumper by Claire Hutchinson. I used all sorts of different needle sizes. The brown, the chocolatey brown, is DY Choice Basics in DK. That's colourway 007. The white is West Yorkshire Spinners Blue Fatal Leicester, DK again. And then the brown is Woolly Knit Diggle DK in the rust colourway. So that's that one. Now let's move on. What have I got on the needles at the moment? Well, I'm still working on my Find Your Fade shawl, but I haven't got a lot of progress, so I'm not going to show you that this week. Most of you will have heard of Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, one of a series of fade shawls and clothing items that are actually available at the moment, and lots of knit-alongs going on too. So that's that one. Other things I've finished this week include spinning. Apologies for the crinkling. And this is the first one. I don't know if you can see how well you can see those little brown flecks in there, but this is a coloured dandelion. The fibre I got from Skein in Australia. Obviously their dandelions are slightly different to ours, but if you actually look on her website, Skein Yarns, the colours I've got in here to the actual pre-spun yarn that's already dyed that you can buy from her, they look very different, but this is mine and I do like those colours. That's a 2-ply, which is why it's looking a little bit meh. I'm still not very good at 2-ply. Now this one, very different. You see all the pinks and blues, and actually the base is a lot more cream than the camera's letting on. It's a tiny little bit of a halo on it, as you can see, but it doesn't make it itchy. And again, this is Skein from Australia, Artisan Yarn and Fibre. And I got 261 meters when I was spinning this, and that's because it's a 3-ply. When I did the other one, the dandelion, that's 356 meters because I only did a 2-ply. And they're both merino silk 50-50, and when she sends them out, they're about 125 grams. This colourway is known as Holiday, and I do love all the different colours in there. There's greys, there's pinks, there's browns. Really, really pretty. So both of those are going to be going up in the shop, and they are for purchase if anybody's interested. If not, I will knit with them. I don't have a problem doing either because they are rather nice. So that's what I've been doing. Now, I can't remember if I was told you last time about the next jumper I wanted to make for George, which is, let me have a look on here. It's called Goldfish by Tin Can Knits. And I saw this one because I was watching a lady called Mimi's Instagram feed, as you do. And I love the colours. So what I did was I was very naughty and went and bought the same colour yarn. Now the light is really rubbish in here. Let's see if that's any help. No, it's That's a bit better. It's actually Stylecraft Batik. So it is an acrylic, but it's an acrylic blend. It's 20% wool and 80% acrylic. Now this is absolutely lovely. It's lovely and squishy, lovely and soft. So I've got that for the main base of the cardigan, but I've got this for the goldfish. And this is Patterns Merino Extra Fine DK. Yeah, you get the idea. So this is going to be my next cast on. However, I'm deliberately holding off at the moment because I'm nearly finished sewing the blanket together, which is really, really good. So that's one of my items for Stash Dash. And I want to get a few more things off the needles before I start anything else. I know that that is something that I don't normally do, but that's what I'm planning to do. So that's that one. However, I have done a little bit of stash enhancement. I bought a skein of yarn from Debs of Fondant Fibre, and to go with it I bought some undercut off the mini skeins. Now there's one missing out of here because it's balled up, and I've been trying to test knit for myself, or design I should say, a shawl, and I'm having a few difficulties with it, but the colour that's missing from here is a gorgeous red. Now these are Otter Pups, and this is set number 2. And I love the names that she's given to these. They're things like Misery, Giallo, Droogs, Hard Candy, Jamie Lee, and Hacko Lantern. Let's just pull one of them out. Let's pull this one out because look at the colours in this. Absolutely stunning. So it's yellows, it's oranges, and the oranges are really quite bright and vibrant. But there's also purples. There's that very vibrant green there, which isn't coming up true to colour on the screen. Really lovely, these. Yeah, Undercover Otter does some amazing colours. Which reminds me, she and Kralaline have just announced their advent calendar for this next year. So if you follow them on Instagram or on Facebook, go and have a look at their pages because they are in the process of taking sign-ups for their advent calendar. Other sign-ups that I know are going on are Fibre Share, that's Fibre Share, which again is another swap. Fibre shares an unlimited number of swaps, so you go online, you fill in a form. I think you pay a nominal amount; it's under $10, and the idea is that that helps towards all sorts of prizes and admin and things like that. And you basically do a swap package with somebody else, and there are parameters that are set for that. That's really, I really enjoyed it last year. I got to know a couple of people really, really well because of that, and I'd like to say hi to them. They know who they are. So that was really, really nice. It also takes you out your comfort zone when people challenge you and send you different yarns. I haven't used any of them yet, mind, but I'm working my way towards it. Just looking at myself on here, I've noticed how my grey has suddenly got an awful lot worse. Oh dear. Never mind. So that's one stash enhancement. The other one, I thought it was really, really interesting that I was watching a podcast this morning. I was watching the Skein podcast. Ellie from Norway, and she held up some minis, and she held up this set of minis, and this is a John Arbon mini set. I'm pretty sure it's knit by numbers, and this is a full 4-ply yarn, and there's 25 grams in each skein, and just that is so dark purple and it's not showing up. It's really annoying. It's really, you see how dark it goes as it moves back? And it's still not as dark as it is. And in contrast, there's a light one. But if I bring them right up to the screen, they don't look anything like their real colours. These are absolutely gorgeous. They are soft, They are fluffy, and I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do with them now. And it obviously needs to be something that fades from the darkest to the lightest. That way, I think. Like that. But as you can see from my shirt, you know, purples are definitely my sort of colours. And they're definitely a lot darker than they seem. So I'm going to do something with this. It's going to be some sort of colour work shawl, I can tell that already, because, well, why wouldn't you with this fading series? But I love the bag they came in. Just a little, what I call a coffee bag, because in my local booths, that's how you get your coffee. And you can actually roast it on a, grind it rather, not roast it, grind it on the premises. So they all fit nicely into this little coffee bag. And that's John Arbon, knit by numbers. And that's the whole purple set. But there are all sorts of different colours you can choose. So, apologies for the sniffling. Right, last time I said I was going to talk to you a little bit about some of my books. Now, I've had such a difficult time choosing which books to show you. So I thought what I'd do is actually, this time I'm going to show you 3. But over the next few months, I'm going to add in a book every now and again, because I have got so many. I mean, there's a whole load of books on socks, about their design and everything else to do with them. There's all sorts of things. So this time what I'm going to do is just show you 3 random books. So I just check my phone. The first one of which is this one. It's a West Knits book by Stephen West. And I actually got 3 of these. And I can't remember who from. I bought them, I think, or they were given to me as a freebie. But anyway, I've got books 1, 2 and 3 in this series. This is book 3. And in this one, I absolutely adore, sorry, I can't get it right around, this cowl. Up and to the right. Moose River. I also like the Dustland hat. It's unusual for me to like lots and lots of different things in here. I love everything, but I think I might make the Dustland hat. And there's also a pattern for some mitts as well, so I may make that for one of my family members. I'm not saying which one, and then just in case they watch it, and no, Rachel, it's not you, so no dibs. But I love these books, so I've got 3 of them. I don't know if there are more, but really fascinating. And these were obviously before all the big shawls that he's been coming out with recently. This thing here, this blanket, it's meant to be a proper warm snuggly blanket, but I think it would also make a lovely shawl. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about that one. But that's long distance future. Long distance future. Today I want to show you a book that I bought quite a while ago now. And as you can see, it's a very big, heavy book. It's called The Principles of Knitting, and it's by June Hemmans Hyatt. And it's called The Definitive Book of Knitting Techniques. And they weren't kidding. It is the most humongous, heavy book. You could use it for pressing flowers, you know, it's that big. But it is, as it says on the cover, classic work on a timeless and important craft. It's a textbook basically. So many different things in here. You can see it's very heavy on the text. Some photos, but loads of diagrams as well. And I know you can't see it clearly, but that's by design. If you want a book for the times when maybe the internet's down or you haven't got access to the internet, you can't get to YouTube videos, this is the book to have. I would highly recommend it. I can't remember how much I paid in the UK. In America it was $45, and in Canada it was $49.99. I know it's a chunk of money, but I do think it's worth the investment because there's a glossary at the back and a contents list and everything. I mean, that is in itself as big as some books. I mean, it talks about water, weaver's knots, weaving techniques, weaving in, turned left hand minute, turn back ribbing, regauging, reverse joinery, rotated cables, running threads, you name it, it's in here. So if ever you wanted to go to, this I would highly recommend. If you're not sure, see if you can get it in the library first. But The Principles of Knitting by June Hemmons Hyatt, definitely my go-to when it comes to doing different things. And then of course you can always go to YouTube and then watch the videos afterwards of the technique that you want. But I absolutely think I wouldn't be as good a knitter without this book. Really, really good. So that's that one. My third and final book for this week is one that's new to me. May not be new to you. It's been out for a little while. Not a huge length of time, maybe about a year. And it's this one, The Sock Drawer. Beautiful Patterns to Expand Your Collection by Verity Castledine. Now, I buy some wool from Verity. The pictures in here taken by her husband and are exquisite. Oops, not very good. Still not very good at working this one out. Some beautiful close-up shots of socks. I like that one. Now, just at the moment, starting on the 1st of September, there is a group called, I think it's called For the Love of Socks, but don't quote me on that one. And they are doing a sock drawer knit along. And basically what they're doing is working their way through each of these socks in this book, one by one. They've already put up the list of which sock you're doing each month, and you just buy the book, cast on with your yarn that you've got, and off you go. I think it's a really good idea. As you know, I don't normally do. Let's see if I can show you this. This is all the socks. I don't normally do pattern socks. This is my challenge from September to Christmas and ongoing, is to do these. Because I think it's about time I push myself a little bit more. I'm not going to sit in the beginner to intermediate section any longer. I've been knitting long enough now that I should be doing something a little bit more complicated. Verity's yarn company is called Truly Hooked. She makes the most amazing yarns, dyes the most gorgeous colours. So that's that one. So I will be joining this. I have already signed up. They have a Ravelry group, and I have signed up from September onwards to do this. So hopefully you'll see a little bit of my progress with that one. So that's that one. Right, what else has been going on in my life? Well, I've moved this to the end, not for any particular reason, just because I forgot to talk about it at the beginning, but it's been a bit of an odd couple of weeks. Very quiet on the one hand, full of drama on the other. The drama I can't really get into, but suffice to say that yeah, life is very interesting and very challenging at the moment. I'm sorry that's cryptic, but I can't say any more for legal reasons, to be honest. Very challenging indeed, and hence the bags and probably the cold and being run down. Other than that, though, it has been very quiet. As you can tell with my jumper finishing and my shawl finishing in a week and a half, I have been on a bit of a knitting bender. I'm just looking over there where my blanket is. It's nearly sewn up now, so that will count towards stash dash. I'm getting towards nearly 4,000 meters on my stash dash total, which is really brilliant. I didn't think I would get even as far as 3,000, so I'm really chuffed with that. And I've still got another what's the 4th today? So we've got till the 20th. So we've got another just over 2 weeks to knit a couple more things to make that total go up. So that's good. Once I've got the blanket out of the way, I'm going to feel at a loss, I think, because that has been languishing for several years, as you know. Um, so I'm now looking beyond that. Um, and I'm going to the podcasts that I watch for a little bit of inspiration. So I've been watching Scandian Knits, and one of the things I'd like to do is have a go at a bit more colour work. Um, and I'm even thinking about making a Norwegian jumper with the Marius pattern on it. Marius is one of the traditional patterns that you get in Norway. Um, and again, Scandian Knits is hosting that one, and that's starting soon. So I'm thinking about doing that. What else have I been watching? Knit Girls, of course, with Stash Dash, and I'm still doing that challenge. Um, I'm trying to think what other podcasts. If you have got any good recommendations for podcasts that you watch or listen to, they don't have to be video ones, they could be audio ones, then by all means go back to the Ravelry group. That's the Knatters Knits group on Ravelry, Knatters with a K, and drop into the thread there and let me know which ones you really, really like. I've obviously been watching the Knit Girls, the Grocery Girls I like. And the last one was done outside in the garden. Hello, I think I did that first. But no, theirs is an interesting one, because you may know them from Craftsy as well, because they also do the Off the Needles or On the Needles podcast for Craftsy as well. I also watched Danny. What's Danny's podcast called? I can hear you shouting it at me, and I can't think what it is. Well, Little Bobbins Knits. So I watched that one, and I'm enjoying. She started doing her podcasts in a different way to make them more interesting. I found that one interesting. Um, Sorry, the word interesting seems to be the Sesame Street word of the day today. So I'm doing that one. And what else have I been watching? Obviously, I continue to watch Christy Glass's little snippets and news sections. Hers are very short and brief, or they might be longer interviews, but either way, I've been watching those. I tend to watch a lot of different ones. Oh, my favourite Celtic cast on podcast is lovely, and again, I've enjoyed watching that one. Um, Ninja Chickens, if you're into natural dyeing, um, Ninja Chickens is a very good podcast to watch. She homeschools her children and um, is a nurse who does alternative therapies, shall we say. That's quite a fascinating one, but I love her lifestyle. I love the fact that they live somewhere that just seems so peaceful and quiet and calm. A nice antidote to life in the fast lane. What else have I been watching? You name it at the moment, because I'm sitting knitting quite a lot of hours every day. If I can watch it, if I can do it, it's on. But I'm always open up for more. Um, Oh yes, the latest one I've just discovered is an Australian podcast called Alternate, an Australian guy, and he is just, I don't know what it is about him. I find him absolutely fascinating, and it could be the lilt of his voice. I'm not sure what it is, but I do enjoy his podcasts. The last one I watched, was talking about his trip to Ireland and to Arran, so that was a fascinating one as well, and there's loads of pictures there. So I don't think I've got anything else to tell you this week. I'm going to try, as I said, try and podcast a little bit more frequently than every fortnight. I've just about managed it this time, but only by a day or two. Um, so I'm going to end here, try and get on and get this out to you. I'd love to hear from you. Please do pop into the Natters Knits threads on Ravelry. It's or even comment below in the comments there, because I love getting comments from you. There's Joe, Enid, Marnie. all the people who normally comment, it's lovely to hear from you, but it'd be also nice to hear from a few others as well. Let me know what you think. If you think this is a load of, then tell me, you know. If you think there's a way I could improve it, what you'd like to see. Um, I've got to try and work out, because I did take some video for you this week, of my trip into the city to go to a knitting shop. And I thought you'd be interested to see it because actually there's very little in the way of city buildings on my journey in. Even though I'm driving through the city, all you can see is greenery. So if I can get it off my phone and onto here, I will tack it on to the very, very end. If I don't, I'm really, really sorry. So I'm going to love you and leave you for now. I don't know what I'm going to have to show you next time. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully that blanket will be finished at long last, and maybe I can start on my PT jumper. I think it's PT 275 or 2875. I can't remember now. It's been that long. Right. I'm over half an hour, which is a bit of a record for me. So I'm going to love you and leave you. So thank you ever so much for taking the time out to watch me. I hope you're having a great summer, or winter if you're in Australia. Um, and I shall speak to you really, really soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye. I apologise for the cackles there. My husband obviously found something very amusing.
No, it was just the Nissan Duke driver that tried to beat all the traffic by going in the wrong lane is now stuck behind us instead of being stuck ahead.